Continuing Dr. King's legacy, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference has selected a new president to lead the civil rights organization. Since its founding by Dr. King back in 1957, the nonprofit's primary goal has been to fight for racial equality through nonviolent resistance. Now, back in August, the SCLC promoted longtime vice president and Memphis native DeMark Liggins as its new leader. He joins us now to talk more about his role and vision for the future. Mr. Liggins, welcome home. Glad to see you. Congratulations. How have you been?
I've been good. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. You and I were talking on the phone a little bit earlier today about the impact of Fred Smith and FedEx, and I know you wanted to share a few thoughts about that.
It's a loss, right? And when you look at Fred Smith and not just what he was able to do in the business community, which is a story into itself, but who he was as a person and how it came out. You know, FedEx was always seen as one of those companies that led and led with empathy. They led with love, and I think they've been a partner of ours. And they've been, more importantly, a partner of humanity. And it's a loss. It was a sudden loss, and one that we're praying for him and his family on.
Sure. As we mentioned earlier, you will be leading the national SCLC. And what are your thoughts when it comes to legacy, faith, and of course America's future and where we are today?
If you talk to me a lot, I talk the SCLC's pillars are legacy, leadership, and love. And that encompasses, your legacy, your faith, where we are. And I think that it's important to remember the past. I think that because of where we are today in our country, we need to all remember that these times that we're in are not new, that there's been an ongoing battle between those of us who love and those of us who maybe will place efficiency over humanity.
Has that battle these days become even more challenging, you think?
I'm going to say different. I think the challenges are always immense, and I think that when we fall into these moments where we think that it's over, freedom is ongoing, democracy is ongoing, this American experiment is one that's ongoing. I think we all need to remember that we all need to do our part to make sure that the American democracy is strong. And there's a reason that we're a beacon of light to this world, and it's because of our capacity to always move towards our ideals and not sit on who we've been.
Where do you think we stand these days with the Southern Christian Leadership Conference? How do you grow it? How do you continue to make it relevant? How do you reach newer members and younger people to say, this is your organization as well? What do you do there? What do you say?
I think a lot of it is being intentional. I think that we do two things. I think that we always need to remember the footsteps of people we're on. Obviously, you have your Dr. Kings that loom large, but do you have your Dr. Steels, right?
Good friend of mine from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, my hometown.
And a mentor of mine. And not just those national figures, but the people in our local areas. But remind the folks that are, say, my age, that just as those gentlemen and ladies stood up to be the change, that's what we need. That we need people who want to be the change and not complain about what's wrong. Because at the end of the day, you move forward by action. You don't move forward by complaining. I'm really big on stop complaining and start doing.
We know over the years the SCLC has been involved in the Poor People's Campaign, issues like affordable housing and entrepreneurship for black business owners. What are some of the focal and main issues for you think, these days? And have they changed?
A lot of it is going back to the future. Of course, we still talk about housing. We talk about some of our initiatives. We talk about, to your point about young leadership, we got a program coming out called Generation Now, where we are making sure that we develop and mold and train, make sure that we know there are certain fronts, I think, in our local communities, making sure that we get back to that. Not just being present in a large group, but being present in the communities and making sure, because those issues around housing, those issues around jobs, at the end of the day, it's what are people facing in their real lives, right? And making sure that we understand kitchen table issues, and more importantly, that we can work with and be on that side of bringing solutions. I think that the legacy of Dr. King was his ability to move the needle and not just complain.
Another issue, as you well know, that hits very close to home for so many Memphians out there was the burning, the torching of Claiborne Temple in downtown Memphis that meant so much to so many people throughout the decades. When it comes to restoration of that church, that building, the temple itself, what are you hoping to see?
We want to make sure that AP remember why it's important. When you talk about a place that it wasn't just that the I Am Man signs were made there, it's why, right? It's because that church represented and had always been part of this Memphis community. What we want to see, I think Dr. Steele was here talking about it. We want to make sure that everyone knows that we're here to help, that they are not in alone. We know that there was a project going on anyway, but we're here to help. We're here to support, and what we can lend from our side. We want to make sure that we always posture to make sure that that legacy portion is remembered, not just for what it could do, but what it will do as we move forward.
All right, and you're a Memphian as well. Got ties here.
Yeah, deep ties here. Both my parents are from here. My grandparents were from here. So Memphis has definitely been a military brat growing up. Memphis was the only place that felt like home because it's home. And so glad to be here. My sisters went to Christian Brothers, so
this is home for you.
This is home.
Mr. Liggins, congratulations. Glad to have you back home in Memphis, Tennessee.
No, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
We'll do it again.
Indeed.